The art of saying no, mastering the ability to decline. A lot of salespeople out here, right? And especially when you're in fields like mine and you're continuously wanting to learn, where you're gonna run into a lot is a lot of people being very pushy and wanting to sell you things left and right. But you really wanna have the power to say no. They're gonna guilt trip you like, oh, do you need to talk to your wife? Or, oh, you can't make decisions on your own. You need to let that ego go. And especially if they try to push you like that, just walk away. Because if you're not able to say no to lending money, to purchasing things you don't need, you're always gonna be stuck. It's like the other day, about like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, went to go purchase a trailer, me and my wife. And the guy got really pushy and me and my wife just walked out, right? And at the end of the day, he's trying to make a sale, but it's something that we don't necessarily need, right? We want it, but it's not a necessity. Like, we don't need it there and then. So we walk away, and they send us emails, they call us, they send us texts. Are you still interested? This and that, whoop-de-whoop, right? And I tried to come down on the price when we were there. Let about a month and a half go by, and then they finally come down on the price. And we got it for like $2,000 cheaper. We got the same one, and they weren't coming down on the price, but a month and a half later, all of a sudden they were able to, right? So those are the things that, you know, the power of being able to say no. Because unless, and that's why I always tell people, be careful, okay? That's why I always tell people, don't wait until the last minute till when you absolutely need it. Or if you need to purchase something, don't wait until like the last minute. Because then you don't have no room to wiggle, right? You don't have no room to wiggle. You don't have no negotiation power. You know, that's the word I was looking for. And it comes with everything, you know, when family wants to borrow money, friends want to borrow money, you know, and, you know, simplest things, you know, you have to have the power to say no. And sometimes you don't even have to come up with an excuse, you know, like you could just say, nah, I'm cool right now. They're gonna be like, why? You'd be like, I'm cool right now. You know, if, you know, it catches my interest, I would jump on it, but it didn't, so I'm not going to. So that's why it's so important, because you'll get stuck in situations or put yourself in situations you don't need to be in because of your inability to say no. So that's a very strong skill and a very important skill to have. Remember that in any situation, peer pressure from friends, you know, a lot of us ended up in the system in prison because we were unable to say no, right? We're easily influenced. We wanted to fit in. We wanted to be cool. We wanted to fit in with the crowd, right? We wanted to be the baddest one out there. We wanted to show, you know, that, you know, they could depend on me, because I was unable to say no when I was younger, but that just got me in the system in and out since I was a minor. So that's why I always tell people, man, the ability to say no is very powerful. It's a skill you got to work on. You know, if I were you, if I were in, you know, a position of just starting out, I would sign up for a lot of these like these free phone calls with a lot of these people that are trying to make a sell on you, and just tell each individual one no, so you can work on that skill, because they're all going to try to sell you on something. So if you are into like fitness, sign up for all these fitness influencers that, you know, are trying to make a sell and they have free calls. If you are into like car sales, get on all these car sale people that are trying to make a sell and say no. You know, work on that skill, man, because that skill will get you far. And it seems like nonsense and stuff like that, but it's really not. Because if you're able to say no, you have more room to negotiate, and then you're going to be able to get a lot further in life, because you're not going to fall into dumb habits, bad habits, unnecessary purchases. And, you know, you're not going to fall out with family and friends from, you know, giving them loans when you shouldn't have in the first place.